A commercial property inspector has so many tools in their arsenal, but none as important as those big tools that we have as our eyeballs. And taking a look at a building can involve a couple of different approaches to how we look at it. One is through a micro approach and one is through a macro approach. A micro being very close and a macro being a little bit further away. If I was to take a look at this particular wall in a micro approach, I go, oh look, we've got a stucco wall over the top of it looks like concrete block or some form of block construction. And oh, we have a crack, and look at this crack. It looks like a big, significant crack that I really need to get a grasp on and a handle on. That's from the micro approach. And oh, I got another crack here, and look, I've got water dripping out of a scupper. All of these are from this micro view of this wall. But if I step back and look at this as a more macro view, I might see this a little bit different. So let me go do that. If I step back 20, 30 feet from that wall and take a look at it in a macro approach, a wider gaze, a wider approach, now I can really see what's going on this wall. In fact, what I see on this wall is a block constructed wall that has been parged over or hard coat stuccoed over to provide the texture of the wall. But above it, I've got a scupper. That scupper doesn't have any drainage assistance. There's no downspout from that scupper. Water is cascading through that scupper and eroding down the wall. Now, as it's eroding down the wall, it's taking the stucco with it, exposing the concrete block. Now, if I was to look at that wall on a very micro approach, I'd go, look, there's stair-step cracking. But in fact, we don't have that quintessential structural stair-step cracking. We have a stair-step pattern of cracking through the joints without movement from the erosion. All that cracking we see in that stair-step pattern through our blockwork is erosion and not movement. When I looked at that crack that from a micro approach looked huge, looked gaping, looked wide, from a macro, I follow that crack vertically. It's just a vertical crack. And all that crack is, if you'll see it really carefully, it goes a little bit, then it stops. Then it moves over a centimeter, then it starts up again, then it stops. Then it moves back over a little bit, starts over, stops. That's just a vertical crack. So at the end of the day, when you're looking at buildings, when you're looking at the structure, when you're looking at the exterior, when you're looking at the siding materials, don't be afraid to look at both a micro and a macro gaze, because that's going to help you determine if in fact you have a major consideration or a major concern for issues, or whether it's just a minor concern or a minor issue.